For today's meditation, we're just gonna pet a really cute cat. Imagine there's an elevator going from your belly button to your chin. And when you breathe in, count to 5 as the elevator goes up. When you breathe out, count to 6 as the elevator goes down. We'll do that 3 times while I pet Mitzi the cat. All right, so this one is going to be it could just be a plain white paper, or this one is a little bit toned. It doesn't matter what paper you use, but take a shape that you cut out, not a stencil from something like just a simple circle, but like a really weird blob shape that you cut out, and we're gonna trace around it. And then we're gonna do interesting color spectrums around this. That's what we're doing now. One nice thing about this being a mixed media class is you can use all the different things that you have at your disposal. You can use color pencils, crayons, even watercolor. But I would suggest at least making the outlines in something that you can control. Watercolor might be a little too flowing for the actual line part, but you can always fill in the lines with watercolor. Painting usually goes faster anyway. So one thing you could do is have this one be the top, because everything else is going to look like it's underneath that, like stepping stones. Or you could have another one on top. I think that's what I'm going to do right now. It's up to you. I'm going to turn this over. So with this one, as you can see, I have a little bit smaller paper. If you have a lot of time and you really want to get into it, use a really big paper. But if you feel like this is a little daunting for you, that's okay if you use a little bit smaller paper. But at least make it big enough that you have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe like 10 or more of these blob shapes that you trace around over the entire paper. As you can see, they get less blobby. For me, whenever I draw, yours may look different. but they get smoother and more rounded as I go out. And that's why whenever you're making the original blob, you want it to be kind of jagged and like lots of very, very blobby looking, not too smooth, because it is going to get smoother as you trace around it. And that's why like at this point, it's almost becoming a circle. So I'm just gonna go ahead and like start another blob over here. Fun. The fun of color pencils. Right now, this is just the outline part. The real meditative part is when you're coloring all this in. One thing I was thinking is if you used your very shiny paper to make the blob, it might be kind of cool to take that blob, I don't know what to call it, shape, organic shape. And if it's in a really pretty paper that you like, that could be, you could incorporate it as one of the parts of the drawing. It's like when you're done with the whole thing, decide which spot you want to glue it on. That might be kind of nice because it's mixed media. And that means just use all the media that you can in the one picture. As I was drawing it, I got a little, my hand got just kind of tired, and I went over this line here. But don't freak out if that happens, because what you can do, just try to like incorporate your mistakes. I think that whenever I'm coloring this one in, I'll just make it brown, and that way you won't even really notice that that line that kind of escaped. So don't be so hard on yourself. If one of the lines escapes or your hand slips, it doesn't ruin the picture. So don't worry too much about it. The main thing to remember is anytime it kind of touches or overlaps another line, just go up to that line with your paper, with your pencil. Don't go over it, because then it'll look like it's behind it if you go up to it. And that's what gives you the illusion of layering. At the end, just kind of have fun. Don't worry too much about the little overlapping lines, like what's on top of what. All right, let's get coloring in. There's no particular order that you have to color these in. I'm just starting with the big shapes.
He was a famous trumpet man from out Chicago way. He had a boogie style that no one else could play. He was a top man at his craft. But then his number came up and he was gone with the draft. He's in the army now, a blowing reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. They made him blow a bugle for his Uncle Sam. It really brought him down because he could not jam. The captain seemed to understand, because the next year the cap went out and drafted the band. And now the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. A root, a toot, a tootly out a toot. He blows 8 to the bar. In boogie rhythm, he can't blow a note unless the bass and guitar is playing with him. And the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. He was some boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B.
Pretty happy with it. I can't wait to see yours. I think they're going to be really cool because yours will be different. Like something you could do, I did mine just kind of moving it around, but something you could do is just like doing it in rows, which might be really interesting. You could do a whole kind of different kind of color scheme where it's like all light colors, all pastels. You could do like a row of cool colors and warm colors. Cool colors are like the blues and bluish greens and bluish purples, and then warm colors are like these fiery colors. So that'd be kind of interesting. But I look forward to seeing your work whenever you share it.